This is one of the best questions we can ask ourselves. Can I afford to self-insure, to pay for my own care? The answer to this question can be a little complicated. In order to determine if you can afford future care costs, you need to first estimate your financial risk or exposure, which involves three components. One, what is the cost of care today? Two, what is the cost of care in the future projected to be? And three, about how long will I need that care? Let's take a quick look at these. First, the cost of care today in the state of Washington averages about $6,000 a month or $73,000 a year. Second, the cost of care in the future is projected to increase. And because we don't know that number, we'll assume a 5% compound inflation. This is a safe number to use. For example, a 50-year-old today who needs long-term care at 80, 30 years later is looking at a cost of approximately $30,000 a month or $360,000 a year for care. And then third, how long do people need care? The national average is 36 months or 3 years. Now here's where you might want to take some notes. Going back to our example of the 50-year-old, by the time this person reaches 80 years old, the costs of care have escalated to approximately $30,000 per month. And although this sounds like a lot of money, keep in mind that some places in Seattle already cost $8,000 per month and more, depending on the level of care needed. So if you take the future costs of $30,000 per month and times it by the average length of time needed for care, which is 36 months, you end up with over $1 million of financial risk or exposure for one person. A couple who wants to set aside money to ensure quality future care is looking at a financial risk or exposure of around $2 million, which should be set aside for the sole purpose of paying for future care. This does not take into account tax issues. Remember, in order to ensure quality care for yourself and a loved one, those amounts of money need to be set aside exclusively for care. So although this option to self-insure exists, it's an awful lot of exposure and can be very expensive.